Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank those few brave souls that are come out tonight for the town board meeting. Antoinette, can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith? Here. Mr. Williams?
Here. Somebody like to make a motion on the reports?
Make a motion to approve the code compliance for February, code compliance report, code enforcement for February, dog control officer report for February, the ECI for January and February. So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Someone like to make a motion on the supervisor's report?
Make a motion to accept the supervisor's report for January 2019. So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have one comment I just wanted to ask. The cash receipts, this is all the money taken in by our EMS department. It's $38,000.
Yes,
Right.
for January.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, on the minutes, I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the bid opening for the rec center cleaning bids of February 21st, 2019, the highway materials bid of March 6th, 2019, and the town board meeting minutes of February 13th and February 27th, 2019. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Someone like to audit the bills?
I will audit the bills. I'd like to make a motion to approve abstract number 4 dated February 28, 2019 in the amount of $294,111.60. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Budget transfers.
I will make a motion that the town board approve budget transfer number 4, which is transferring money from the contingency account to snow removal personnel services for the highway department, both in the amounts of $30,000. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A well-oiled machine. Mary, you're up.
Whoa. Was a well-oiled machine. Just blew that one out of the water. Okay. Yes, the first item on my agenda is the 859 Fair Street Realty LLC bond and escrow funds release. So the Fair Street Realty LLC was requested to submit a performance bond and various escrow funds in order to construct various improvements on their lot. So the Fair Street Realty LLC has completed these improvements, and at its meeting held on February 28th with the planning board, it was recommended that the performance bond in the amount of $22,000 be released. Hereby, the town of Patterson hereby releases the performance bond for the Fair Street Realty site plan in the amount of $22,000, the professional plan escrow funds in the amount of $2,731.40, and the post-construction escrow funds in the amount of $8,100. So I'd like to enter this resolution into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, second item on my agenda is the Alpine Water District repairs. Mr. Dennis Mays has the stairs leading into the Alpine water treatment. They've rusted through. Dennis received a price quote for $520 to repair the support
Excuse me.
from K&L Fabricating. So Dennis is making the request that we take the repair. We have the repair done by K&L Fabricating. I think Dennis knows what he's talking about, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the $520 to repair the stairs at the water treatment plant. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the last item on my agenda is rec requests. This is more of an announcement. Mr. Machabaro would like us to let everyone know, stay tuned for, they will be planning and offer discount tickets to 2 area venues this summer. One trip would be to the Renegades game at Dutchess Stadium in Fishkill, and the other would be Lake Compounce Theme Park in Bristol, Connecticut. They'd like to have a Patterson Rec Day at Lake Compounce, and that would include free parking, entry to the park, and a barbecue dinner. They'd like to have a Patterson Rec Night at the Renegades game, and that will include whatever special events that are on that night that are selected. So Matt wants everyone to stay tuned because they will be offering this stuff. You will have to provide your own transportation, but looks like a lot of fun nights for the rec, for the community, bring community together. Thank you.
Great event. Peter, what would you like to talk about?
All right, first thing on my agenda is the Putnam Lake Seniors Trip requests. So we have a request here from the seniors to go to celebrate Stalia at AquaTurf. The date of the trip is July 16th of this year, and the net cost to the budget would be $1,800. So I'd like to make a motion to approve $1,800 for the trip. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Second item I have is the recreation cleaning bids. This is something we tabled last meeting, so we were able to get all the information from what we needed. And I have a memo here from the town supervisor that we just giving some information on the lowest bidders. A&C Cleaning Service was the lowest, and I guess you and our recreation director met with them as well. They meet all the qualifications for town contracts and whatever. So I do have a resolution here. I'd like to make a motion to accept this resolution to hire A&C Cleaning Services, which includes a bid amount of $21,600 for a one-year term commencing April 1st. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That is all I have.
Next, we have a resolution to approve the acceptance of bids for materials and surfaces for the Highway Department. We received a recommendation from our Superintendent of Highways on a variety of materials, and which include crushed stone, bituminous concrete, tree work, washed sand for ice control, diesel fuel, and heating oil. And we have a resolution. So I'm going to make a motion that the town board approve the resolution to accept the bids for materials and services to the companies listed in this resolution, enter it into the record as so read. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Interview, ZBA. We have received in 3 or 4 letters of interest for people who want to be interviewed for the zoning board, which we have a opening on. So I think what we need to do is advise the supervisor of dates that are convenient to us and you, or especially you.
Do we have any?
I don't, but
Okay.
be happy to provide that to you tomorrow. Do you guys want to do it in the evening, or you want to do it a Saturday morning? Do you have a preference, so we narrow it down that way?
I mean, I would love to do it after 4:30, 5 o'clock one day.
Okay.
But, well, we'll work with whatever's available for everyone.
Okay.
Well, that
Sounds
works for
good.
me.
So.
Say again?
That works for me.
Oh, okay.
4:35, I just, as long as I
Maybe
know
we can
ahead
do
of
this
time.
next week, give the boss some days
Okay.
that people are available.
You got it.
We'll do our
Email
best.
now.
Nobody likes the Saturday, 7 o'clock?
No, I'll take that. 6:30.
I'll pass.
I'll bring coffee.
Yeah.
Sean and I.
And
are
if they
there.
show up, then they want to be on the zoning board.
There you
right?
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Sean.
All right, thank you. First item that supervisor is bringing to the town board's attention and to the public's attention that there is amendments to the labor law that are being considered at the state legislative body. One is Bill S. 1947, sponsored by Ramos, and the other is A. 1261 by Bronson. And in essence, these are legislative bills that are looking to amend definitions and things that affect prevailing wage and what would need to fall under those public work projects that require prevailing wage. And as I know the board is painfully aware, there are times when we are looking to do work that these rules can affect not only the work that the town does, but work that's done by businesses looking to do work within our municipality. And so while we certainly want to make sure that fair wage is always provided, in some instances, some of the changes to the definitions, I think, would be negatively impacting on development and future projects within the town. And I know Rich will chime in, but one thing, he had drafted a letter which we intend, with the board's approval, to send to our senator,
And also our assemblyman.
and our assemblyman, Senator Harkman and Assemblyman Byrne. And there's one paragraph in here that I think is worth reading verbatim, and it's something I think we all agree with, that New York State is already one of the most expensive states to do business in, and that by expanding the number of projects subject to prevailing wage, costs would be driven up significantly on a wide variety of projects across the state, including manufacturing, affordable and market rate housing, urban revitalization, historic preservation, and nonprofit organization projects, thereby making New York less competitive. We recognize that we are having difficulties with getting projects interested in coming to New York in a variety of ways, and especially in Patterson. So this is one area that, with Rich's, with the supervisor's recommendation, I think we should move to send notice to our elected officials that we are not in support of them amending these changes to the definitions for prevailing rate and public works projects. So Rich, I'm sure you probably want to add into that.
No, I think you've done a fine job.
Thank you. It's being kind.
No, it really is. You know, there's two issues to this. One is there's a concern that it may require us, when our highway workers are doing something normally not associated with road maintenance, that we're going to have to pay a prevailing wage, which is considerably higher than their current negotiated, contracted wages. And the other big issue with this is that it will negate any benefit that the town could receive from, you know, having an IDA involved in a project and that favorable financing that they would get. It just takes the IDAs right out of the picture. Two other areas, I believe it was Yonkers and one county, their IDA started mandating that all their projects use prevailing wage rates when they were doing it, and both IDAs did not see any projects, any requests for any projects for an extended period of time. So I think this is a really big issue in New York State now with the environment that we're in, and as hard as we're struggling here, which is why I'm bringing it forward. And I'd like to thank Joe Downey, who was on our planning board, and also Putnam County IDA, for bringing it to my attention.
Joe's
Okay.
good.
Joe has been an excellent addition to a number of functions for the town. So
Yes.
that's great. Thank you. So, but just by matter of motion, I'd like to make a recommendation or a motion that we send this drafted letter from our supervisor to both the Honorable Peter Harkman, Senator, and the Honorable Assemblyman Kevin Burns. So moved.
I second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Okay.
Next item is a maintenance issue for the Justice Court. The reverse osmosis system over there is in need of replacement. And so we have multiple quotes here from reputable contractors that can do that work. We do have the low bidder being Adams Plumbing and Heating from Patterson, which is always nice, using our local contractors. We're looking for an amount to replace the existing reverse osmosis and install a new Flexon AT1000 reverse osmosis system, including repiping into the existing water supply of $4,845, and also replacing the fiberglass well tank, the pressure tank, in an amount of $575. So I'll move that we approve doing this necessary and important work. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And lastly, just really as an announcement, we were talking about the announcements for the rec center. And we have someone here from the library, but I wanted to remind not only the board, but also anybody at home or in the audience, that the library also has those passes for museums and facilities down in the city that all you have to do is sign out from the library and you can use them. They're already paid for. And I think that's something that I haven't personally used, but what a great opportunity if you want to bring a family of 4 down to the, some of the museums down in the city. You know that that's an expensive option, and we have that available. You just have to go to the library and check those passes out. And I think that that's something that's a great opportunity that people don't really know about, no matter how many times we say it, but it's worth repeating. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree. I've taken advantage of both the Museum of Natural History and Mystic Seaport.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, first on my agenda is a resolution to approve a driveway maintenance agreement for the Kathy Burdick subdivision. This is a subdivision that was approved back in 2017, and it kind of fell through the cracks. We're cleaning it up at this point because they are seeking now to start construction on the building lot. So without objection, I'll ask that the resolution be, I'll move the resolution and ask that it be entered into the minutes as though read. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain just because it's my sister-in-law who has the subdivision.
And you second.
Oh, well, wait a minute now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a re-vote on
Protracted
this.
discussion. Yeah.
Oh.
The second item on my agenda is a proposed zoning amendment for a parcel over in Putnam Lake. I hope that everybody is familiar with Angelo Zigarelli Restaurant, very good restaurant in the town.
You mean the existing or the previous, the old?
No, the existing.
Okay.
The existing, and if you're not familiar with Zigarelli's Restaurant, I hope you're familiar with DJ Flowers, because I'm sure you've been there to send your wife some flowers.
Very nice
1-800
arrangements, by the way.
Flowers. They do a phenomenal job over there. They really do. Anyway, I digress. Mr. Zigarelli had an opportunity to buy the property directly behind his, actually directly behind DJ Flowers and abutting his property, which went up for sale from the county. And he did so with the intent of using the property to widen out his existing drive aisle behind DJ Flowers by shifting the 20 parking spaces there back about 20 feet onto the newly acquired piece of property. Well, the reality is, under our code, he can't do that because it's a residentially zoned piece of property. So what we are looking to do here is change the zoning boundary for that piece of property to include it as a commercial piece of property so that he can shift his parking over onto that property a little bit. That's all he's proposing to do at this time.
Question?
Yes?
The parcel that he obtained is a vacant parcel?
The parcel he obtained is a vacant parcel that had a house on it that burned down many years ago.
Could we not just simply do a lot line adjustment and dissolve the lot?
Yes, we
Just
could.
Combine it with his?
We could, but unfortunately, the town was not involved in the transaction, and the county made him merge the whole property. So it's all one piece right now.
So then doesn't that make this a moot point? If it's if the county made him merge it with the...
Because the zoning boundary doesn't now follow
Okay.
the property lines.
I see.
So we have to change the zoning boundary to follow the
Understood.
property lines.
So the good news is, though, that we are talking about one lot, we're just talking about moving the line.
Yes.
Perfect, that's
Yeah.
even better.
Yeah.
I like it.
And the reality is this lot that we're talking about adjusting the zoning boundary for really isn't large enough for
Yeah.
any sort of substantial house.
All in favor?
I also have a question.
Yes.
This is his current parking lot? For the-
Okay, so, because I always know how it is to be out in the audience. I don't know if you can zoom in on this, if anybody can see it. But Zigarelli's is right here,
Right
the
here.
restaurant.
Yeah.
DJ Flowers is right here. This is the new lot, right back here.
Okay.
All right, and we're moving this boundary line down
Down.
here.
So he's going to use this for parking?
He currently uses that for parking.
Okay.
His site plan puts the edge of the parking right here on this green line, and he just wants to bring it 20 feet back.
Perfect. Allow a little more area in there.
Yeah.
Do we have to do, oh yeah, we do a public hearing.
Yes, we have to do
Yeah.
a public hearing. So without objection, I would like to introduce local law, introductory law number 1, providing for a public hearing for a zoning amendment for the property we just discussed, which would change the property boundary from, alter the property boundary between the RPL 10 and the GB zoning district. So moved.
Second.
All in
Just quick
favor?
discussion.
Yeah.
One other question. He's moving, or we're moving the line back and he's moving the parking 20 feet. Will it allow him with some creative layout to gain parking spaces, not just move them?
At this time, he is just looking to gain parking spaces. If he wants to...
You mean shift the
I
parking?
shift
Yeah,
parking spaces.
correct.
If he wants to gain parking spaces, he also talked about, you know, in the future, maybe putting, you know, some play areas out there, bocce court, fencing, some other things, but the planning board, you know, was very clear about he would need to come back in for them to review it. Now, the good news is the whole back of this area
Mhm.
backs up against his lot right here, because this is also his
Right.
lot. It's actually all merged in.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, next on my agenda is the mileage reimbursement policy. I believe I provided everybody, did I not? Yes, I did. With our current mileage reimbursement policy, which basically says any employee who is directed by appropriate department head or supervisor to use his own vehicle to conduct town business will be reimbursed at the mileage rate established by the town board at the organizational meeting, yada, yada, yada. And there's not really a lot to it. This came up recently because an employee used his vehicle and responded from his location, which was down in Westchester, drove all the way up here because car in Putnam Lake went through a garage,
Mm.
and found out that he couldn't get reimbursed for that.
Mm.
And,
That wasn't the intent. of
you
the
know, I mean,
original.
my prior life, when I was town planner, you know, we always heard what the mileage policy was. The mileage policy was that you could only get reimbursed from the closest of town hall to the job site or your house to the job site if it was after hours. And I've never really questioned that. I've always assumed that, you know, it was in some IRS document. But when this came up, I wanted to know more information about it. And I started taking a look into it, and lo and behold, I haven't been able to find that anywhere. So the reality is, in my opinion, we don't have a very substantial mileage policy, and I think we need to adjust that. So I've provided the town board with a policy.
Emergency.
I don't know if you've all had a chance to review it or digest it, and I'll open it up for discussion.
I'd like you to bring this back next meeting, if you don't mind.
Sure.
That's all. I just want to have more time to read it.
So the existing policy that you're referring to and the way it's been done in the past is consistent with the way that the county does things? In terms of they'll say, oh, you have to put in only from your house or from, you know, they use a consistent methodology. But I am not opposed to adjusting it for, you know, our building inspector responding in an emergency. It's only fair. We're not talking, it's not big, this is not big money, but it's one compensation for being there when we need him in an emergency. So I don't think it's not a big dollar item, but it's being fair and compensating someone for the wear and tear on their vehicle. So.
Yeah, I just found it very unfair that he was asked to drive up from Westchester, take care of the emergency, and then have to drive back down.
Right.
And he doesn't get compensated for any of that.
No, I think that seems reasonable. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody, you know, between now and the next meeting, if you have any comments or questions, just shoot me an email, or and we'll put it back up for next meeting.
Well, and you also put in there not to exceed 35 miles, so it's not like somebody's driving from Long Island or something. And,
Yeah, for vacation.
Okay, yeah, so let's be clear about that. I thought there should be a mileage limitation in there, so did Trish. I discussed this with one other town board member who thought it would be best not to put a mileage limitation in there and see how it went for a little while. That's why that's in parentheses
Yeah.
with add the 35.
So I just want to ask a question. as far as the miles go, so say the it's for the code enforcement officer, if he's out of town, would he normally inform you and let you know, well, I'm gonna be in Albany this weekend, so if something happens, is there coverage for him, or would he be required to drive from Albany back here to?
I wouldn't expect anybody to drive from New York City or from Albany back here. We can work on other methods to deal with an emergency. But that being said, no, when he's not on town time, he does not inform me he's going away for the weekend or the
Yeah.
like.
I would hope that if we had some kind of a need for coverage, we have they have a really good relationship with the other building inspectors. If we needed a building inspector to respond or a fire inspector, you know, the call would, I imagine Bob would say, hey, Bill Walters over in Kent or something, can you respond? And we would work that out.
And I know Bill
Yeah,
Walters
yeah.
fairly well enough so that I could call him
Yeah.
up, and I also know the county building inspector.
Yeah, so,
That's a very good point.
okay. Great.
All right, last on my agenda is an executive session, it's personnel. And I'll defer that to after public recognition and other business. Does any town board member have any? Charlie's giving it to you before I can give it to you.
I guess so. Here, Charlie, you can have that back. I have my own. So Charles Cook would like to make a announcement that the Putnam County Soil and Water Conservation District and the Cornell Cooperative Extension, Putnam County, are proud to present the 2019 Tree and Shrub Seedling Sale. That's the yearly sale that they advertise via their website and through lots of different media outlets that allows you to buy you know, trees and seedlings and bird houses and other things that will beautify your property and add to the enhancement for wildlife and beautification of our community. I have actually purchased many items through this. They are always of very good quality. I have pine trees and Doug firs on my property that are 20 feet tall that came at 6 inches tall 20 years ago, and they do really well from this event. They also offer things like apple trees and ways that you can provide an edible landscape in your yard. So if you need anything or want to be part of this, you can contact the Soil and Water Conservation District, and I'm looking for a phone number on here. I know that Lori Taylor from the Soil and Water Board and the Planning Department administers this.
Just give me your home phone number. Sean.
Give my home phone number. Charlie, what's your home phone number?
Your cell number.
There it is. Thank you. So you can dial 845-278-6738 for Cornell Cooperative Extension if you'd like to get more information on this. And visit the Putnam, I know it's on the Putnam County website. I've seen that as well. PutnamCountyNY.org, and you can see this. So thank you. Thank you, Charles.
Any other town board member have any business?
I do. I have four.
You've got four?
Four. All right. First off, we have received a memo from our building operations and maintenance guru, Dennis Mays, notifying us that he was notified by Allied Pollution that a pump at the South Street lift station has not been keeping prime and will not pump. So to fix it, it will cost us $3,160. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve all makes, pump and motor company to fix the internal mechanical seal and bearings and all the other good stuff. In an amount not to exceed $3,160. So moved.
Second.
Just a quick discussion on this. I had asked, and thank you, Rich, for providing what the cost would be for a new pump, because it's obviously an expensive repair, and it looked like it was an over $10,000
In
pump
2016.
In 2016. So let's even say it's 11 or 12,000. This is obviously not something we want to break because of what it does and what the outfall from that would be. There's too many puns that could be thrown around. I'm not going to do that. But I thank you for that information, because it is good to know. It's a 3-year-old pump. It needs a lot of work, but it's better than the alternative. So But I had a question about this. Does Dennis keep a, almost like from an asset manager standpoint, does he keep a list of these sorts of components, or can he, and the money that we're putting into it, so we can see, no different than fleet management with a vehicle, we can see the money we're putting in versus the useful life?
I don't know that Dennis does,
Okay.
but I know who does.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I have to keep track of all the expenses on that wastewater treatment plant because I have to account for everything to the DEP and send them a yearly accounting and reconcile the money that they are providing to support the operation of that plant. So that's where I was able to pull up, the last time we actually purchased the pump.
Yeah.
But yes, I do have a list of all the pumps that we've rebuilt in each of the pump stations.
I'd be interested if, it's not for an agenda item, but if maybe we could sit down sometime and I just want to take a look at it and see what.
Do they offer warranties on these pumps when you're spending $10,000 on a
No.
pump? Do they don't offer
actually-
warranties?
If we were buying it brand new, there's a 1-year warranty usually that comes with the pump, but not on a rebuild. Just real quick, I can send you all the spreadsheets if you want to.
No, please don't do that.
Okay.
All right. I'd love to sit down with you, but please don't send me all the spreadsheets.
All right, that's one.
All right, next.
We didn't, I'm sorry, I interrupted your vote on it though.
Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Have we received back the fire department contracts?
Yes,
Both.
yes. And reports.
Sounds good. Have we heard anything from the county on shared services as it relates to electronic waste?
Yes, I think I gave the board an update last meeting about my shared services meeting.
Yes.
Which included the electronic waste, and my understanding is that the county now has it out to bid.
Okay. Put that over here for follow-up. Very good. All right. Next, we received or I received a note from our Brian Benedict, the duffel bag man. The next military collectibles knife show will be at the Patterson Recreation Center on April 12th. And it goes from like 9 to 3. And its admission is $5, children under 12 free with an adult. So proceeds of this event goes to the Patterson Rec Center and the American Veterans Historical Museum. So April 20th is the next military collectibles knife show. Thank you.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Mary?
I'm good.
Pete?
All good?
John?
Yes, I'm all good, thank you.
Okay, I have just one last thing. I would like to express my gratitude to the Brewster Elks Lodge 2101. Last Friday, I was invited down and we received recognition for the way that Patterson manages our flags and our flying of the United States flags. Dinner was provided. The emergency service providers, they were all recognized as well. It was a very nice ceremony down at the Elks Club. There's a little plaque now hanging up downstairs. So just want to say thank you to the Elks Club.
Very good.
Very well.
Public recognition.
Karen Vera Powers, representing Patterson Library. We have a number of programs coming up that I think will be of interest to both adults and children. On Saturday, March 23rd at 1 p.m., we're having a program on genealogy, and we have a genealogical researcher named Philomena Dunn coming in to teach people how to begin to look at their family roots and their family trees. So I think that should be interesting with Ancestry.com going the way it is these days. We won't be taking DNA. Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem here. I'm balancing too many things. All right,
Tinny sound.
that's all right.
There is a bit of a tinny sound.
I'm just gonna put it in.
Yeah, stand for here.
Oh, thank you. Okay, that works better. Also on April 6th, Cornell Cooperative Extension will begin its gardening program at the library. And that will be the first session, Saturday, April 6th at 1 p.m. All children and adults who are interested in learning how to grow a vegetable and flower garden during this coming season should come to take advantage of that. Another interesting program is Saturday, April 27th at 1 p.m. It's called Mummies and More, an introduction to ancient Egypt. And Harvard-trained Egyptologist Marissa Horowitz-Jaffe is going to be introducing people to the art and archaeology of ancient Egypt. Parents might be very happy to know that during spring break, which goes from Monday, April 15th, all the way through Friday, April 19th, the library will be sponsoring a spring break camp every day at 10:30 a.m. for grades K through 5. There will be activities going on in the library. On Monday, we have an obstacle course where kids will be getting messy or colorful. Then on Tuesday, there's an animal show. The Nature of Things will be coming in to show off their little cute creatures of all kinds. Craft Day on Wednesday, April 17th. Fairies and Pirates on Thursday, April 18th. And Movie Day on Friday, April 19th. So all of those days at 10:30 in the morning, there will be programs for children K through 5. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very great.
Oh, and thank you for bringing up the museum passes again.
Keep wanting to use them.
Oh, thank you, Karen.
They really are great. Anyone else? Going once? Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
After we say Happy St. Patrick's Day to all, motion to go into executive session.
Thank you, Charles. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.